Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a downhill bike racing game called Lonely Mountains Downhill. Yeah, this is a indie game that just came out not too long ago for the Nintendo Switch. It's also available cross-platform, so if you wanted to play it on Steam or whatever, you can get it on there. But I wanted to check out the Switch version because I'm a Switch channel. And you know what? It's honestly the system I play the most. And what attracted me the most to wanting to cover this game was the minimalistic look to it. It kind of had an artistic feel. And there's just something about indie games that have a artistic type of look to them that makes me want to check them out and see if I can sink the teeth into them. So Lonely Mountain Downhill, what is it about? Well, you control a character that has options to like trade what kind of bike and what kind of trail you have to go down a mountain. You go from point A to point B, basically from the top of it to the bottom, and you kind of, it's almost like a time attack type of game. There's a variety of different challenges and stuff that open up once you do the basic mountain trail. So you initially will get a trail that's kind of like an exploration route. There's no hurry, there's no time limit, no direct challenge other than get to point A to point B. And this is where the game actually really shines, because the one thing that I really love about this game is the fact that it's so open on how exactly you can get down there. You don't have to take the set mark path. You'll find a generic trail that kind of leads you down the mountain somewhat safely. But then once in a while you'll come across to a turn, or you'll see a jump, or you'll see a gap or a bridge or a log that might be there, or something that looks like it's a path that is less taken that might actually send you even further down, like a shortcut. So there's a huge amount of variety when it comes to coming down the mountain in these levels. And honestly, it surprised me because the game felt a lot bigger in that aspect. Because when initially you look at this, you look at it like a very minimalistic, graphical looking indie title. You're like, okay, it's a downhill bike racing game. What's going to be more to it? Not really nothing, right? Well, you know, honestly, the charm and the way that the graphics look is what attracted me. I just like that minimalistic feel that a lot of these games give, and it kind of gives it like a little bit of a whimsical feel. You know, you're traveling down the bike and you'll see a pond or some trees and flowers, and you'll see some butterflies fluttering in the distance and stuff. And then it has this blur effect, and I don't know if it's because of graphical capability problems that the Nintendo Switch has, or maybe this was intentionally done. I think it was done to give it a field of depth so you could feel that the environment is a little bit more mysterious and lively, because these mountain trails have a lot to look at, especially when you get later in and you see levels that have like red leaves and dirt and dust, and there's like pits that have like junk in them, and you know, old trees and rocks, and you'll find like cool looking little ponds to like kind of look at and explore. It's kind of neat, I think, the way that it looks, and the music, it's kind of like a weird atmospheric, like real relaxing, low-key vibe. And what's funny is, for as relaxing that this game looks, the gameplay can be quite chaotic. Now, the main base core of this gameplay, again, is you start your character from the top of the mountain, you have to make your way down. Initially, each mountain has a exploration type of track. You know, the initial part, there's no huge like challenges to worry about on it. There's no time that you have to try to beat. You're okay if you crash a certain amount of time. It's basically done to kind of like orientation yourself to the mountain. So you initially go down it, take your time, sink in the look and the feel, and you'll see just how big the trail can feel at times. But a lot of trial and error. You will crash a lot in this game. It does get chaotic because there's a physics system with this game. It's kind of like a very challenging physics system that reminds me a little bit of like other isometric games like Marble Madness, to the point where if the character's facing you when he's coming down the mountain and you push left, it's going to go like an opposite direction. Like, it's kind of, you have to judge which direction you're going to be going based on how you're facing. It's kind of like, it's weird almost to an extent, because you got to see it from like the point of view of the character, if that makes any sense. It's basically, the physics are kind of done in an isometric way, where if you're facing one direction and you turn, it's gonna probably not go in that definite point if you're facing away, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but it does get a bit challenging. But not only that, your racer actually speeds up based on inclines or declines. So like if you're going down a segment of the hill really quick, you kind of got to control your character a bit because you don't know if there's a turn coming up or not. This game kind of has, you know, just enough of the trails shown to kind of surprise you when either a rock pops up or a tree or a gap. There's gaps that you have to like accelerate fast enough using button A to jump over and stuff. So there's a high degree of challenge here based on how the physics of the game feels, and it's a lot of fun. So for as relaxing as the game feels and looks, it gets quite chaotic, and you will find yourself getting so frustrated when your character's almost to the next checkpoint. Yeah, each part of the trail is divvied up into checkpoints, and when you reach those checkpoints, it feels really rewarding. But if you crash, you go all the way back to your last checkpoint, and it's like, oh my god, I just saw the checkpoint there, and I fell off the freaking cliff and died. But this game is so much fun because it leaves it again to so much open-endedness in it. The game feels a lot more bigger than what it is because the game allows you to not only use these physics, you know, your character's speed, movement, the way that he moves, and also the way that the levels are laid out. There's so many branching paths that are not obvious in regards to the thing. So you will see a generic basic trail that is safe for the most part, give or take your player mistakes. You know, maybe you're going too fast around a corner, maybe you fall off an edge, maybe you just run into something like a tree. But there's also beaten paths. You'll see like darker paths that kind of lead you to maybe a steeper incline, maybe a lot more obstacles to kind of avoid when you're driving through the forest of the mountain. Or there's some that are not so obvious. Sometimes you just see kind of like an opening between some plants or something, and you end up actually taking a shortcut. So the game actually feels a lot bigger than it looks. Don't let the minimalistic look of Lonely Mountains Downhill fool you, because these trails have multiple opening paths, some that are obvious, some that are not. So I like that there was a lot of open experimentation type of, like, I guess, opportunities when it comes to coming down. It wasn't just a straight point A to point B thing. And then I mentioned once you do get down the initial exploration trail, it does open up challenges and stuff like try not to fall 20 times, beat this level within 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And these actually allow you to unlock new items like clothing, bikes, new trails that can be discovered. Each mountain has multiple trails that are on varying degrees of difficulty. You can even eventually open up new mountains, and the scenery changes. You might have a mountain that's like real woodsy, and then the next one's like fall looking colors and stuff like that. Some of these trails are really hard. Some of them have lots of jumps that you have to accelerate on and stuff like that. So this is one of those games where you're going to keep playing because you're going to keep crashing, but it's a lot of fun. That high degree of challenge takes me back to a lot of old school type of games, and this one kind of, I feel that might have been kind of hidden underneath the rug. It came out like on May 7th in the eShop, and I really haven't heard anybody talk about it. No other like Nintendo Switch channels that I follow have covered it, so I feel that this one kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit. Might be a fun little hidden gem if I was to say. It's running about $19.99 in the eShop. I didn't even check to see if it might have a physical release. If it does, then that's interesting there. Honestly, Lonely Mountain Downhill brought a lot more enjoyment than I expected out of it. I thought it was just going to be like a generic downhill bike racing type of game, but you know what? It has an online leaderboard as well, so you can kind of challenge your friends to see if they can beat your times down certain trails and stuff. It's fun. It's a lot more bigger and in-depth than it looks. Do not let the minimalistic looking graphics fool you from it, because if you like challenging little games that are quirky, relaxing to look at, but also at the same time a higher degree of advanced challenge based on the physics system and stuff, I think you'll like Lonely Mountains Downhill. I'm actually really impressed with it, so I can actually recommend it on the 8BE game grading scale, the 8BE GGS. I'm going to go ahead and give Lonely Mountains Downhill a solid 8 out of 10. I think it is definitely worth a look, guys. Anyways, if you've played this game, comment down below, let me know if this looks like something you could sink your teeth into, or something that you kind of want to pass on, feel free to let me know down below as well. Let's have a discussion. Let's throw some engagement. Hit that like, hit that dislike. Help me spread this video out so people can watch and discover the channel. Be part of the ABE Nation like you guys. Appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace. Consider supporting 8-Bit Eric on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. You want to become part of the hashtag 8BE Nation, guys? Well, be sure to pick up your official merch, now available online. Link is below in the description. We got classic t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and even women's apparel. Don't forget, pick up your official merch now. And while you're at it, guys, feel free to watch the next video, or why don't you catch up on one that you might have previously missed. Thanks again, guys, for all the support. I couldn't do this without you. You guys are amazing, and don't forget to subscribe and click that like button if you are brand new. Thanks again, guys. Peace out.